Well, hello, everybody, and my name is Mike Yost. I am one of the co-founders and the chairman of the Industry 4.0 Club. I want to welcome you to today's fireside chat. With us today, we have Lucy Ashton, who is the director of the Manufacturing X.0 Media, and we are partnered with Lucy for her series of events, and I'll let her introduce herself in just a second. And the Midwest event will be in my hometown in Cleveland, Ohio, and so really excited that Jolly Ehiabhi, sorry, Jolly, if I got that wrong, a staff manufacturing engineer and Industry 4.0 implementation lead from Otis Elevator, will be joining us here in Cleveland in the fall at the end of September for the event. And so we want to take the next 20 minutes or so and get to hear from Lucy about the event, hear from Jolly about his session in particular, and then learn more about him and his journey. Before we do that, just a couple of points, and then I'll ask Lucy to introduce herself. The Industry 4.0 Club is really trying to drive an open dialogue around industry transformation as it pertains to adoption and the understanding of Industry 4.0. We do that expressly for the benefits that such a transformation can bring to companies and to the communities that rely on them. We do a bunch of different broadcasts regularly, and Wednesdays are typically our fireside chats where we have guests like this in this type of format. And we would encourage those in the audience, if you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. We will do our best to get to them if we can. If not, we'll just invite you to Cleveland to meet Jolly and Lucy and myself, and we can all talk in person there. So just a couple other quick points. We always want to keep a positive environment here in the Industry 4.0 Club. So feel free to add your comments. As I already mentioned, we'll do our best to get to them. So with that, Lucy, could I ask you to introduce yourself, maybe introduce the event that's coming up as well, and then we'll start the conversation with Jolly.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Mike. So I'm from MX.0 Media, and we have the MX.0 Midwest event coming to Cleveland on September the 25th. And we also have the Southeast event, which is coming back to Greenville, South Carolina for the fourth time in April 25. And our events bring manufacturers together so that they can share insights, benchmark, brainstorm, network, and learn from one another how to do digital transformation. So it's real life case studies, real life successes, failures, sharing, and they're really nice, quite intimate events. And we have a returning audience year on year in Greenville, and we're really excited to work with Mike and partners like Team Neo and Manufacturing Works and the Smart Manufacturing Cluster to bring the event to Ohio. So Jolly and I met, and Mike met him too, in the Southeast, in Greenville in April, where he spoke on digital twins and gave a fantastic presentation on what you're doing, Jolly, you and your team at Otis. So we'd love to introduce you to the audience. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are today and what you're doing at Otis right now?
Okay, hello everybody. Just like Mike said, my name is Jolly Ehiabhi. I currently work with Otis Elevator, and I've been with Otis for about 7 years. This is my 7th year with Otis, and typically I prefer to be referred to as a manufacturing engineer because that kind of gives you the ability to kind of touch almost every part that has to do with manufacturing. And in manufacturing, like we all know, that there is a trend towards digital transformation, which also the Industry 4.0 is an umbrella under all this transformation that we talk about when we talk about digital transformation. So pretty much my background is more on engineering. I have a bachelor's in agricultural engineering, a master's in manufacturing engineering. Currently, I'm working on a PhD in industrial engineering, and also I'm concentrating on artificial intelligence, machine learning. So my research is on the area of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also Industry 4.0. So currently with Otis, I currently lead implementation at the local Florence factory when it comes to Industry 4.0. So we pretty much are looking at every possibility that is going to help us to increase our efficiency, build also on what we currently have. And so because the idea behind Industry 4.0 is to help you to be more efficient and also help you to save money and also help you to increase your throughput. So pretty much, and that's kind of a summary of what I'm doing currently. So my background is heavy on the manufacturing engineering side. But despite when you look at my resume, you discover that I've worked also as a project manager, which I believe most of the implementation lead that you find out there, they are always project managers, right? And also you can also discover that I've also worked also as a design engineer. I've also worked also as a structural engineer in the past. But in the last 7 years, I've had so much fun being in the field of Industry 4.0, being in the field of manufacturing and implementing a lot of these ideas.
Well, that's fantastic, and excited to learn more about you. And Lucy, I don't want to take over, so if you have questions, please feel free to jump in. I was just wondering quickly, you talked about efficiencies, you talked about throughput. I'm wondering, did the organization start by saying those are areas that we want to get our arms around? Can you use Industry 4.0 technologies to get there? Or did they say, go figure out what Industry 4.0 technology means, and then you figured out that it ties into those types of value propositions?
So I would like to say it this way. Maybe probably let's look at what are the pillars of Industry 4.0, right? Because sometimes when you talk about Industry 4.0, I once had somebody ask me and say, hey, what is this Industry 4.0 all about? The person who asked me was an engineer and said, is it a new way, or is this something that we have to learn? Or so I would like to kind of look at some of the pillars of Industry 4.0, and then probably that will help to answer those questions. So now the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about Industry 4.0 is the big data analysis, right? Once you have a lot of information, a lot of data coming in, and you want to analyze those data, you want to see how can you make decision with those kind of data. That's the first pillar that comes to mind. And then the second, you're going to look at the robots, either you call it autonomous robots, you call it AGVs, and that stuff like you're going to look at that. How do you kind of move your material or your work content from point A to B around the shop floor or around your factory, right? That's another pillar of Industry 4.0. Then there's another aspect that has been in existence since the 60s or even before the 60s, simulation. And a lot of people want to simulate their process. A lot of people want to say, okay, before I go to the field, I want to know if this process is capable or if the process is efficient enough to produce the end results, right? That's another pillar of Industry 4.0. Today, we do a lot of simulation, either process simulation or product simulation. They are all part of the pillars of Industry 4.0. And also, you also want to look at also system integration. So for example, I have $1 million machine in my shop floor. I don't just want that machine to stand alone. I want to be able to talk to my ERP system. I want to be able to talk to also my logistics system. I want to be able to also talk to my QMS system, which is the quality management system. So basically, you are looking at all those pillars. Then the famous Internet of Things comes into play, right, as one of the pillars of Industry 4.0. Everybody knows, or almost everybody who has looked at the concept of Industry 4.0, Internet of Things comes to mind. And then you want to see, okay, how can we use this software or this application to help us increase our efficiency? And then you look at cybersecurity, because you don't want to have $1 million machine and an application, and then all of a sudden somebody break into your system and tell you that you can't use it until you pay us some ransom, right? That's also part of the umbrella of Industry 4.0. And also then the cloud computing, right? You want to be able to do everything in the cloud. You want to be able to, you don't want to have a big mainframe system just to store information because you want to implement Industry 4.0. You might not have the real estate for that. And then the other aspect, additive manufacturing, which is one of also part of my background. And I think pretty much that's where we kind of started from at Otis in Florence, that's in the Florence location. We started by building a 3D printing lab. We started looking at exploring the capability of additive manufacturing. How do we print our products in real time, or how do we print our tools and our fixtures in real time? So we started from there, and then we started looking at all other aspects. Then the last one is augmented reality. Now today we're working on getting work instruction to the end users, or getting work instruction to our customers. And really, you want to give them something that's precise, accurate, and when they look at it, they don't need to come back to you and ask you questions. They understand the instruction given to them. So for us at Otis, all the system, when you look at all the systems, you discover that these systems, they have been in existence for a long time. But somehow, somewhere in 2011, somebody that's in Germany, they came together and said, okay, the idea of Industry 4.0, let's put this stuff together and let's connect all this stuff together and let's see how this stuff will help us to drive efficiency. So the same also applied to us in Otis. We've had a system maybe in bits and pieces, or we've had them not as structured as it is currently. But along the line, we discovered that we have to increase efficiency. We have to increase throughput. We also have to be very productive when it comes to every aspect. We also have to do away with the paper trail, right? And so we say, okay, let's look at what we have to do, what is in the industry, what's out there when it comes to Industry 4.0. And that's kind of what is driving this. And also, maybe shortly we'll talk about how to go about implementing this stuff, because you also need cross-functional team for this to be able to be a success. So I think that answers your question, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And it leads me to the point. And again, Lucy, I'm doing all the talking, so jump in here. We went to the but yeah. So how do you make sense of, how do you guide the team? Like I said, there's a bunch of familiar technologies. There's some new things, or at least more capable things today. So my mind goes to, and I think a lot of the manufacturers that'll be at the event will be saying, okay, well, how do I make sense out of this and move things forward, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Lucy.
No, go ahead.
No, I thought that was a question for me, Mike, but I just discovered that
it was.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, I know. How do you lead? It leads you into the organizational conversation, right? Like, how do you move your organization forward? How do you get people to buy in? And those sorts of things. And so, just curious. I'm sure people are going to want to know, because you didn't mention digital twins specifically as the pillar, but you're going to be talking about that, right? So, how do people?
So I don't know yeah. So it all depends on your process and what you have going on and what products you are working on, right? And what is the driving force? Do you want to increase efficiency? Do you want to increase throughput? Right? Do you want to be more productive? Right? And then you start looking at, in the industry, what are the tools out there that one can use to increase efficiency, increase throughputs, basically. And I think that's what drives a lot of companies to look at new ways or look at more updated technology to run their processes. Maybe if you remember at the start of this conversation, I said I prefer to be referred to as a manufacturing engineer, because we're not just looking at a drawing on paper. We're also looking at, okay, is this going to be a product that we're going to manufacture to increase throughputs and to increase efficiency? So that's kind of what drove us at my company to be able to go into some of this implementation. And then companies globally are now building structures whereby they can say, okay, we have a strategy for Industry 4.0. And then somebody's in charge of that, or somebody's the strategic lead for that, and kind of try to help to bring cross-functional team into it. So the primary purpose of Industry 4.0 is one, efficiency, improve efficiency and throughput. Because almost every business, if you're not producing product as fast as you can, technically you're going to be out of business in a short time.
So thinking about the strategy you're leading and working on the roadmap. What have been the highs and lows so far? Obviously, at our conferences, we look a lot about the challenges and the opportunities. What are some of the lessons that you can give us over here?
So the highs is going to be you introducing something that almost nobody or few people have an idea about it. And so you become almost like, oh, the hero. You have something cool, and this stuff really works and helps people to be productive and increase their efficiency. But on the other side, you want to look at the lows, which is a lot of people don't understand some of these principles or some of these pillars, and then you get asked a lot of questions, and some of those questions you have to spend time explaining. Like I know, being a project manager, I know 90% of your job as a project manager is communication, right? So, but with Industry 4.0, you're definitely going to be communicating a lot. You're going to be working with cross-functional team because it's not just a one department initiative. Everybody has to be part of it, because once you start talking about integrated systems, once you start talking about cloud computing, you start talking about capturing data, right? You want to be able to get those data from every possible department that you have available, right? So that you can have accurate data and you can make decisions. So the lows there is when you get to meet a lot of people still don't really understand what is the concept of Industry 4.0. So you're going to do a lot of work trying to educate. You spend a lot of time educating, and sometimes makes your projects to become longer when it comes to implementation, right? And so, but the highs is, hey, at the end of the day, the result shows, and then they get to see it, and then you become the hero.
Well, that's good. And what does that? I mean, can you give us examples of what that education looks like? Do you use like new processes, new technologies to speed that up, that training, that development?
Okay, so I'll give you an example with a project I'm currently working on. So currently we're doing a shop floor visualization project, and I started that project about some couple of years back, and I was working with just myself and then those from the digital technology team. We just kind of
No, I believe we may have lost Jolly.
Connected.
I think we got disconnected, right?
Oh, there we go.
Well, we can hear you now. Oh, you're back.
Okay. Did you get disconnected?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So I was talking about leading such kind of project, and sometimes when you experience that you have just maybe you don't have enough of the cross-functional team, right? You're gonna come into a situation whereby no matter how beautiful your idea is, you can't really sell it to your customer. Now, customer now in this case can be internal and also external. But for us was internal because we're building some application for the shop floor to visualize their data, to visualize their metrics, their KPIs, and other stuff like that.
Well, we are proving that we are live today.
Yeah.
Are we carrying now?
There we go. We can hear you again. Okay.
You're back.
We're back. So I don't know what's going on. So we started sometime last year, towards the end of last year, that we're going to do this differently. We're going to involve the customer in the implementation team so that we can give that education. We can give them that education because we discovered that no matter how beautiful your design is, your implementation is, if the customer doesn't understand it, they're not going to use it. So it doesn't make any improvement or any business sense for them if they don't use the tool. So we started, and so the education goes this way. From the very start of the project, they understand what every aspect of the project is supposed to be doing to them or for them as a customer. So we actually work on building a playbook. So the playbook is kind of like an instruction saying, okay, if you do this, this is the benefit you get. And if you do that, this is the benefit you get. So that's kind of one of the ways we try to educate our customers about this implementation. And it's worked for us because now nobody's asking us question of what are we doing. They're really asking, when is this going to be ready for us to start using it? So even before you get to the final stage of implementation, your customer is already excited. They want to see the benefit. They want to reap from that benefit. So we started by involving them in the implementation team. So definitely that's kind of one of the educations, and that has helped me. And I think also we've used the most recent method of project management, that iterative delivery for our customers. We use the agile system of project management to do this. So almost every 2 weeks, they get to see something new. They get to see an improvement that tells them that, hey, at the end of the day, this is going to look beautiful and you're going to like it.
I think we could stop right there, and everybody who's watching would come to Cleveland to hear you speak. I think the point of educating the customer and having them involved in, an agile approach is just is just fantastic. Absolutely worth its weight in gold. I'm wondering, I know that you're currently working on a PhD. And so wanted to talk about that a little bit. But before you go into exactly what it is, I'm wondering from your team's perspective, I'm sure it's comforting for your customers to know that they have smart people with advanced degrees that are leading this work. But is it intimidating at all internally that people are like, well, Jolly's so doggone smart that he gets all this stuff. I'll never figure it out.
You know, the word PhD is already intimidating for most people. Right. Especially when you talk about PhD in a work environment, especially in engineering, where you don't really need a PhD to be an engineer. Right. It's kind of intimidating. A lot of people ask you, okay, what are you going to do with this degree? Do you want to become a teacher, or what's the aim? But but sometimes you have to understand that the day you stop learning, it's time for you to die. You have to learn every day, because there's no knowledge wasted. And for me, the driving force was not just to have a degree. The driving force was just kind of, okay, I've been doing this stuff. I just want to see what kind of challenges out there. And I can tell you, within the past 3 to 4 years, I've been running my PhD. I've met a lot of different people from different organizations, different companies, and I've received different challenges. And it's been very exciting. And sometimes I can tell you that I learned a lot from a lot of the folks that I'm going to school with, because there are some stuff I've been doing this way, and then they say, oh, have you looked at it the other way? Now, but the good thing about doing a PhD and also working in industry is that you're not just coming with theoretical knowledge. You're also coming with the practical experience of what you're talking about. But sometimes your colleagues are going to see it like, okay, you are here to intimidate us. And once you say something, they feel like, okay, you're saying it because you feel you know better than them. But the most important thing is that we all are in a school of knowledge where we have to learn every day. So that has helped me, as a matter of fact, to relate also with my colleagues, because some of the stuff I'm getting from other folks who don't work in the same company with me, they can also benefit from it, right? So that has helped a lot.
Sure. And I'll just comment that you've hit a chord here. We've had a couple comments. I'll just read those, and then Lucy, let you come back to Jolly. But one person commented that he is a cross-functional team with a champion, in line with what you said. And then another one talks about the playbook model and said they're going to adopt the practice, a helpful resource to get people excited, informed, and stay focused. So thank you for that feedback, that input, and keep them coming. So Lucy.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I was just going to ask a little bit more about your PhD, because I know you gave us a little, brief background on it, but what specifically are you going to be taking to Otis, and how important do you think it is, or has been, that Otis has supported you to do this? And, what advice can you give other manufacturing companies when it comes to building out their Industry 4.0 skills?
Okay, so for my PhD, the benefit to Otis is this. I discovered that before I started PhD, each time we're looking at some of this technology, we have a lot of sales guys out there. I don't have nothing against the sales team. They come to you and try to sell you something that you don't even have knowledge about. It's kind of like, you look at the first presentation, you're blown away. You say, oh God, I need this. Let's go for it. But now, if you have at least a little bit of knowledge about it, you're going to be asking the right questions. You're going to be asking the right questions. Okay, why are we doing this? What is this? What's the benefit? And I think most of the good sales guys out there, which I have a lot of good ones, they understand that, and they understand that this guy has the knowledge about what they're trying to sell. So they also have to kind of tell you, okay, this is why we have to do this. So some of those benefits we've really reaped those benefits. For example, I'm working on machine learning, and some couple of weeks back, somebody was trying to sell me a solution, and all the presentations were fantastic. But when I began to ask questions that's specific to our process, because I really, really, really know what we are looking for, right? And then he knew that, okay, I'm not going to just go sell them something that I can't really prove, right? And at the end of the day, we have to come to the point that, okay, I need to see a POC, that's proof of concept. Most manufacturers out there, before you buy any technology, please always ask for a proof of concept. And sometimes some of those proof of concept are always free, most times. you're going to get them for free, and that kind of help you to build a business case, because the idea behind it is for you to be able to build a business case. And so once you're able to build a business case, then you can ask, okay, this is going to be good and this is going to be beneficial to our process. So that's one of the benefits my company is getting for me having this knowledge. And to answer the second question, Otis has been very supportive to people going back to school, right? Because I know most companies have similar program which we call the employee scholar program. They kind of pay for you to go back to school if you want to go back to school and learn and get the needed skills. But when it comes to doing stuff like PhD, most companies really don't want to pay for such kind of education, because you're going to do a lot of research, and some of those research are very expensive. But in general, Otis has supported me going back to school, getting the needed education, getting the needed skills. So, and it's very beneficial to them because they have somebody who don't just know about this product, but at least you are able to be able to give advice and also help in giving knowledge when it comes to many other products.
I think again, that I can't wait for you to come to Cleveland and hear your talk and meet you and get you to interact with others. I wondered maybe if we could pivot just a little bit that way, Lucy. Maybe if you want to talk about the event a little bit, or the structure of it, and then have Jolly talk about his session. I believe it's on digital twins, and so sort of set the stage there for what we can expect with the event.
Yeah, sure. Well, I just also want to reference that we met Jolly through Mike Demos from the Op Exchange, which is a great organization in South Carolina that supports the event. So must also, point out the work they do. But yeah, very excited for you to come to Cleveland. That's what the event is about. It's about giving manufacturers the opportunity to ask questions, not so that it's just that people like me and Mike ask questions. It's so that they can sit down and meet with you. And I don't know, do you want to maybe tell people a little bit about your experience in Greenville, about the Southeast? Because you've obviously, decided to follow us to Cleveland. So it'd be good to explain why you enjoyed the event and what you hope to bring and get from the event in Cleveland.
Okay. So I think my first time being at the event was in Greenville. And the good thing about the event is kind of like, let me use this word. You have a smaller group, but everybody kind of have the opportunity to network, connect, and also share their experience. Right? We had great speakers. We have folks like what's his name? I can't remember his name. Jeff Winter, right? Jeff was there too.
Yeah.
We have folks. We have people who, at least currently in the industry, they are looking at what we are looking at when it comes to Industry 4.0, digital transformation, and other stuff like that. And then we also have some companies who actually have some cool ideas that they were able to talk to their products, right? And I think the good thing is that they came in as technical sales guys, in the sense that they can answer questions and they can also help you to make the right decision. So in Greenville, it was a good time. And when I did my presentation, I was kind of surprised when I listened to some of the questions that was being asked, because these guys are not just asking questions because they just want to know. They want to also implement the same thing at their various locations. So that kind of gives me the encouragement, and okay, I'm not just talking to people who don't care about what we're talking about. And so I decided to follow you guys to the Midwest, because I believe there's going to be an opportunity again to meet similar kind of people who have great knowledge, who have great interests, who want to be part of the new trend in the industry. And that's kind of my motivation and my joy. Because sometimes when I will tell you, from that conference, I've built a lot of friends. And I know sometimes when they share their experience, maybe on LinkedIn or on any other platform, you know that, okay, well, this is a good one. Let me see this. Maybe I will need it for tomorrow. So
have you been to Cleveland before, Jolly?
I think I flew into Cleveland before, because I know I've been to Troy, and it's kind of Troy, Ohio is kind of close. So it's not going to be strange to me. So.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to welcoming you here and learning with you. And I bring that up because as far as the value of manufacturing to our region, in the northeastern quarter of the state, there are almost 8,000 manufacturers that make up 30% of the employment and 50% of the economic output of our region. So it's incredibly important for us. And again, the opportunity, like you just outlined, to share with each other, to learn. Like we have to work together. Manufacturers have to have forums to connect and share with each other, just like you're articulating, because you're not going to be able to just go, point solution to point solution and wait for the vendor to walk in with the ultimate package for you. You've got to be able to scale the learning and knowledge transfer like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we have another comment in here that says about the Industry 4.0, the journey to and through Industry 4.0 adoption has to have ownership buy-in. Once they drink the Kool-Aid, everything else will follow. Everyone will follow. So again, more, justification or support of what you're saying.
Yeah, I think I like the word Kool-Aid. Once they see the benefit, right, the product, and I think that's why we also say for every implementation you should have cross-functional team. Don't just run by yourself and say, okay, I'm the engineer or I'm the project manager, I'm going to do this. You're going to fail because your customer is not part of your implementation. Sometimes you don't really know if you're answering their questions or their concerns. And I think we have one of the comments here from Tim, right, that says that he kind of lists the teams that you need for this. You need IT, you need operations, you need quality. You also need your stakeholders. Your stakeholders are going to be the directors, the guys who are going to be paying the bills. You also need to give them periodic updates. You also need to let them know that, hey, this is what we're doing and this is the progress so far. So for you to be able to be successful in this phase of manufacturing, you have to be able to carry everybody along.
It's quite a skill, and we talk a lot that it takes leadership. I think Tim referred to a champion earlier. So whether it's a champion, it's a formal leader, it's a business owner. A lot of the companies, you'll have owners very active in the business, and other organizations, it's different, but you still need somebody that is a strong leader that the organization can rally around.
That's right.
Yeah. So Lucy, I mean, do you, I think we could stay here all day talking to Charlie, but I know he's got things to do, and we want to leave something for people to talk to him about here in Cleveland. Is there anything that you wanted to direct specifically to Charlie, or do you want to talk about the event itself? I see the link is on the screen for people to check out.
Yeah, just check it out. Jolly's session is listed, and I saw a comment from Susan Carla from Mersix, who is also speaking at the event. So there's a lot of amazing, great manufacturers on stage. So please, visit the website and come and join us.
Yeah, appreciate that. And Jolly, any last words or any takeaway that if somebody was on the fence about coming, like they have the opportunity to either experience the event overall or your session in particular, any takeaway for folks?
Yeah, so I think the major takeaway is that for such kind of event, you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to have a lot of tools in your pockets to help you move on when it comes to digital transformation, when it comes to Industry 4.0. I'm going to be talking about digital twin, and definitely you want to hear stuff like that because we're going to give you case studies, right? We're not just trying to sell anything, but we're trying to at least give you the tool you need to be successful when it comes to such implementation. And I know such events, there's going to be a lot of bright minds, and you don't want to miss it. You want to be part of those group that when they talk about this stuff, they're talking about it because they've actually tried it out. They've implemented maybe at least something that has to do with what we're talking about when it comes to digital transformation. And so if you can make the event, it's going to be a great time for you to learn, to also network and meet great minds.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think you've highlighted that, you showcased that, right? We're going to have a couple more of these conversations, and I guess I should have established from the beginning that the Industry 4.0 Club has been supporting the MX.0 events in the Southeast and the Midwest, so we are very excited. It aligns with our mission, actually sort of operationalizes our mission. We do these types of events, and when you get an event like the MX.0 series, then you actually get to meet people like Jolly and Susan and Lucy and others. And I think it's a phenomenal opportunity both for our manufacturers in the region to learn from folks from outside of the region, and then also to show the capabilities that we have here. So I'm looking forward to having you all here in Cleveland. I guess, Lucy, is there any last takeaway or anything that you wanted to comment before we close it out?
No, I'd just like to thank Jolly for joining us, and also you, Mike, and the Industry 4.0 Club for the continuing support. It's great working with you all, and yeah, look forward to seeing you in just over 9 weeks' time in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's one thing you learn about an events person. They know down to the day how far away we are for the event. So we're definitely looking forward to hosting everybody, showing you what Northeast Ohio has to offer, which I'm very proud of, but really, really excited for this type of conversation. And so again, check out the website, sign up, get here. In the meantime, follow the Industry 4.0 Club online and on LinkedIn, and join into our regular programming. We typically every week we host at least 2 shows on LinkedIn. So check us out, and you'll get more information and more conversations from folks like this. So again, thank you, Jolly. Thank you, Lucy, and everybody have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.